Hey there, I'm Owen Roberts. I'm applying for Celebration of Youth Awards in Sarnia Lambton for 2025. I have applied before and I didn't get it, so this year is my second attempt at it. I always keep on trying. So today I'm applying for the Bellavance Family Award, which is sponsored by Richard and Becky Bellavance. My apologies. And the Thelma McMurray Award. That's also sponsored by Jim McMurray. I'm applying for those today, which kind of encompass people's journey through mental health, and obstacles they had to overcome and whatnot, as well as service above self in your community and whatnot. So I'm just going to explain kind of why I feel like I fit that criteria. I was going to do a more polished, edited video and stuff, but I thought this is something that could be done candidly. I feel like that feels more real, and I could really just speak from the heart and really get my thoughts and emotions out like this. So also typing text out is different when you can kind of feel the emotion. I don't know. That's what I think. Anyway. So I have had a kind of crazy mental health journey over the last couple of years. It began in about grade 10. Keep in mind, I am now a 12X student. I graduated last June. I'm not in high school anymore. I took half a semester, but I will be going to university in the fall. Anyway, so in grade 10, I had started my mental health journey, and I didn't know it at the time. But every day I started to notice more things having to do with like germs, and I was getting more and more fixated on things. So if I would see someone cough and wipe it on their hand or something, I would notice that, pick up on it, and it would just kind of stay in the back files in my brain. But as the months progressed, that became much more of a common occurrence, and I started to notice it about everything. So if I noticed someone had touched dirty laundry and then touched like a cup, I didn't want to touch the cup. And vice versa, if I did the same thing, I didn't want to do that and put germs on it for someone else. And this wasn't so bad. I could live with this. But as we got to 2023, it got really, really bad, and it controlled me every day, early part of the year, at least the first half of the year. By June, July-ish, it got to the point where I was spending hours a day stressing out over this, getting stuck in the bathroom, trying to consistently wash my hands for minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes, getting under my nails. Skin started to completely dry out and got red and ripped and torn, and it was horrible. There were days at the end of the school year, grade 11 at that point, in which I had to get my mom to pick me up because I couldn't be at school because of the germs, and me thinking I was a horrible person because I was spreading germs. My anxiety was kind of pushing in with that, and I didn't know what it was. And a lot of this changed. I think the day was July 12th, 2023, when I was stuck in the bathroom, and I couldn't leave the bathroom because I was afraid of getting germs on everything and whatnot. My grandmother came and got me, and I was there for hours and hours and hours. And because of this, I just felt stuck, and she brought me to the emergency room, the ER at the hospital. I spoke to some nurses, I spent the night, and I started to get some counseling, and I found out from a psychiatrist that I had OCD. I'm diagnosed with OCD. I got put in a system with some medication and whatnot, but a lot of what you're trying to do to help yourself with OCD is called exposure therapy, which is the things that you're OCD about, you kind of put yourself into those situations to try to get through those. So like, if it was germs and there was dirty laundry and I touched it with something and I wanted to wash my hands, I would try to go as long as possible without touching my hands. And things like that, little things, they build up over and over and over and over, and you just keep pushing further and further, and eventually the goal is to get used to these sorts of things, these phobias, these fears. And so I worked with them, my family. I had a social worker with YHU, which is the Youth Wellness Hubs Ontario, through the CMHA, which is Canadian Mental Health Association. And through all of these certain things, I should mention, actually, in July, it got so bad, I was spending hours and hours and hours a day, that I could not leave the house. I couldn't join my family on trips or anything, couldn't enjoy my family breaks, anything. And it got to the point where I didn't think I'd be able to return to in-person learning for grade 12. I thought I'd have to go online because I was just done. I wouldn't be able to stay there. From a couple months in the summer, with my medication, my psychiatrist, and my family and social worker at YHU, I was able to make it back to grade 12. And within a year from that point, I no longer needed a psychiatrist, was never on the medication anymore, and was leaving my social place at YHoo because I didn't need it anymore. Because I spent a year teaching myself methods of getting over this OCD and these anxieties and whatnot. And they're still in my day-to-day today, even though it's been well over a year now. And it's going to be a lifelong battle of ups and downs on how much it affects me. But I've gotten to the point where I can manage it. And this is a story that's important to me because I actually ended up winning valedictorian last year. And that's not supposed to just be a brag or anything. But to me, that was important because there was a point where I didn't think I'd make it to grade 12. And yet I made it to valedictorian. And I wrote that in my speech. I told everyone about my mental health journey. And I made it clear that none of us are in this alone. We're all in this together. We're all going through this journey. So anyway, that's my story on that. I still have anxiety, still have OCD and stuff like that. And I go through it every day. And I'd love to tell you more in this in-person meeting with you about it. But that's my journey on it. But at the same time, as part of these awards have to do with volunteerism. And I love to volunteer. I love to give back to my community. I'm wearing a shirt right now, Relay for Life. So I participated in several Relay for Lives, which is by the Canadian Cancer Society to raise awareness and money about cancer, to fight cancer. And I actually have worked on teams in it. This blue shirt is actually a committee shirt. It can't really come through too clear there, but it's a committee shirt. I was the head student at Great Lakes' 2024 Relay for Life last year. We raised over $50,000 to fight cancer, and it was our first main in-person event as Great Lakes, at least at our new location. We had done one event in grade 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now, that was online, but we did that in person. So that was really big for me. We raised a ton of money. Here's a baton from the event. It's a big souvenir, one of my proudest moments of my life that we were able to do that, pull it all together. Got hundreds of people so excited, doing great. Raised a ton of money to fight cancer and brought a lot of awareness to it. On top of that, I once a year do a cycle challenge in August where I do 30 days of cycling and I raise money to fight kids' cancer. That's very, very important to me. Cancer is very important to me. I've had a lot of it in our family, in my family, and a lot of it in yours, I'm sure, too. 2 in every 5 people in Canada are diagnosed with cancer. So we're all at least know somebody who's been affected by it. And a lot of us know people who have died to it. So it's a big issue that I want to see solved, and raising money to find more research for these sorts of things is big in that. So I do that. And I also helped recently with a Mental Health Matters initiative at our school. That was more of a class effort. So that wasn't so total volunteering, but it was more about selling shirts and whatnot to raise awareness about mental health, and to all the profits would help a lot of people in our community. On here, there also is I should mention, my goals for next year are to do some sort of science/engineering program at Western, is likely where I'm going. My ultimate goal with it is probably research or something, some field I can apply this science and stuff to help people, really, is kind of the thing. I just want to help people. There's a lot of jobs I can make a lot of money off of, and I don't really care. As long as I can live comfortably, I'd rather be helping people. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to apply science to do that, because in history, we've seen that happen dozens of times. And also, I wanted to relate this all to the YMCA values, making a difference by reflecting these values, is what it says on here, and it 100% is true. So there's the 5 values: caring, we can be trusted to do the right thing. I gave it my all. I took as much care as I possibly could when I was the lead of the Relay for Life committee, the student lead. I put a ton into it, a ton of care. I put a ton of care into myself when I was going through all my OCD and whatnot. Keep in mind, all these volunteering things I did while I was going through all that. So I had to practice a lot of this stuff on myself, not just on others. And that goes with honesty. I had to be honest with myself about how I was going to achieve my goals of getting better. I had to be, if I committed to things in these committees, I did them. I committed to being lead, and I committed to making this event. I shaved my head in front of the entire school. I had people grab me, pull me on the stage, and shave it. And that was my commitment to this committee. That's something I did last March, I believe it was, at our relay rally, which got the school super hyped for it. Respect, so we believe in the good with people, is what it says here. 100% I do. If I didn't believe in the good in people, I wouldn't be doing these things that would, like raising money and stuff, because then there would be no money. People wouldn't be good to do. I wouldn't believe that to happen. So I respect everyone who does anything to help, and even people who don't help, I respect them, because they're allowed to make their own decisions. And a lot of us have a lot of hard time helping other people. A lot of us need to help ourselves first before we can help others. And that's something I respect. And I try to practice that on myself too. I got to respect myself and my own boundaries. Responsibility, like I said, try to set examples for others. I was the leader of the group. I had to use my experience and teach people how to be on this committee, how to do their roles, how to fulfill what we needed done. So I took responsibility over overseeing most things, got a bunch of people to sign off on stuff, spent hours and hours and hours doing things to prepare for these events and to make sure I got my bikes in for the riding in the summer and for making sure I sold my shirts for the Mental Health Matters movement. And inclusiveness, creating a place for everyone. We wanted as many people as possible in these events. I want as many people to know about my mental health story as I possibly can. I put it in my valedictorian speech, and if I win this award, I would love to put it in as many videos as you'd like as well. I want to talk about it because we need to rip that stigma apart, because it's not the end of the world. If I can get through it, anyone can get through it. Someone who didn't think they'd go back to high school did and is now doing very well. I mean, because I believed in myself, and I think a lot of people need to believe in themselves and have, like, it's just, you know, you got to be passionate in that way. So I want to include everyone in my journey. I want to include everyone in what I'm doing with the shirts, with the biking, with relay, with everything I'm doing, just trying to be great. So from everything from me having OCD and anxiety to all my volunteering to everything I've made it through it all, that's my story. I'd love to share a ton more with you. I know this video ran on a lot. I can send out a cut copy if you want that. But yeah, I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity a second time. And I can't wait to talk to you more about it. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And once again, thank you so much. You take care.